Indiana, where you called opponents of school choice flat earthers. And I assume that you mean by that, a flat earther is someone who doesn't look at evidence, doesn't look at data, isn't willing to embrace innovation, creativity, just keeps believing what they always believe. But we've had some major studies in, as you're proposing a $250 million increase in pilots that would include vouchers for private schools. The studies from Louisiana, from Indiana, from Ohio, all show that students who choose private schools in voucher programs have experienced, quote, significant losses in achievement. And the studies also show that if we want to achieve good outcomes for students, those come through nonprofit schools that are open to all and are accountable to state and or federal authorities. You've talked a lot about the flexibility of states as being preeminent. So I want to go back to Indiana, to Bloomington in particular, and look at the Lighthouse Christian Academy. The Lighthouse Christian Academy currently receives over $665,000 in state vouchers for students to attend their school. They are also clear in their handbook and their guidance that if you are from a family where there is homosexual or bisexual activity, their word, not mine, or practicing alternate gender identity, you may be denied admissions. If this school, which obviously is approved to discriminate against LGBT students in Indiana, if Indiana applies for this federal funding, will you stand up that this school be open to all students?
Thank you, Congresswoman, for your question with regard broadly to school choice. And
it's actually kind of narrow because I have 1 minute left.
And I would like to refer back to your question about the comment about those
I'm sure
who are
you would.
resistant
I
to
want to ask particularly, is there a line for you on state flexibility? You are the backstop for students in their right to access a quality education. Would you, in this case, say, we are going to overrule and you cannot discriminate, whether it be on sexual orientation, race, special needs, in our voucher programs? Will that be a guarantee from you for our students?
For states who have programs that allow for parents to make choices, they set up the rules around that.
So that's a no. Do you see any circumstance where the Federal Department of Education under your leadership would say that a school was not qualified? What if they said, we are not accepting African American students, but that was okay with the state? Does the state trump? Do you see any situation where you would step in?
Well, again, I think the Office of Civil Rights and our Title IX protections are broadly applicable across the board. But when it comes to parents making choices on behalf of their students...
This isn't about parents making choices. This is about use of federal dollars. Is there any situation, would you say to Indiana, that school cannot discriminate against LGBT students if you want to receive federal dollars? Or would you say the state has the flexibility in this situation?
I believe states continue to have flexibility in putting together their programs.
So if I understand your testimony, I want to make sure I get this right. There is no situation of discrimination or exclusion that if a state approved it for its voucher program, that you would step in and say that's not how we're going to use our federal dollars. There's no situation if the state approved it that you would put the state flexibility over our students. Is that your testimony?
I think a hypothetical in this case
it's not a hypothetical. This is a real school applying for that receives dollars.
Time has expired, but I'm going to allow the Secretary to answer.
I go back to the bottom line is we believe that parents are the best equipped to make choices for their children's schooling and education decisions, and too many children today are trapped in schools that don't work for them. We have to do something different. We have to do something different than continuing a top-down, one-size-fits-all approach. And that is the focus, and states and local communities are best equipped to make these decisions and framework on behalf of their
I am shocked that you cannot come up with one example of discrimination that you would stand up for students.
Not required to answer. Go now to the gentleman from Idaho, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry I had to step out and finish a hearing over on the other side, but there